Hi, sixth graders. We're on lesson 2-3. The learning target is I can graph points on a coordinate plane. So just remember that you should open up into the next clean sheet of your notebook. You'll want to write the date on maybe the top right side. And you want to write lesson 2-3, and then here's your learning target. So pause me and make sure you write this down. You want to make sure that you're labeling every lesson that you're watching a video on, so then it's easy for you to go back to your notes. Okay, so we're going to be talking about coordinate grids. We use coordinate grids in when we look at maps and when we need to find different places, and in Minnesota Studies, when you're looking to find distances between certain cities and countries and things like that. So, in math, we call it a coordinate grid. Sometimes it's called different things, but this is a coordinate grid or a coordinate plane. So this is what it looks like. So I would write coordinate plane in your notes, and you don't need to draw this box with all of these lines, but I would draw an arrow like this going down and an arrow like this going across. And you want to label it. So right here you want to write X, and right here you want to write Y. You don't need to write any of these numbers right now, but in your box, or in the different boxes that you just created, okay, you want to label things. So this is quadrant 1, this is quadrant 2, even though it looks like it says quadrant 1, so quadrant 2, and we would write it like that. Quadrant 3 is right here, and then quadrant 4. So see how it's broken up into 4 different boxes, kind of. So you have your arrow, horrible straight line, I know. Okay, and then you want to write your lines with your arrows, and then you're going to label it X. Here's your Y. You're going to write out the word quadrant, quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, quadrant 4. Okay? And then, so it's really, really, really important that we remember that this line is our x-axis, and then this line, our vertical line, is our y-axis. So you might want to draw an arrow. That means x-axis. Okay, make sure you're writing it nice and neat and organized so it's easy for you to come back and look at your notes when it comes to studying. Really, really, really important to remember. So x-axis, sorry, this right here that's pointing to this line. Okay, it's our horizontal line, x. Our vertical line is y, and that's called our y-axis. Okay, and then right here is called our origin. So you could label that. And these words are important to remember. As we are going through the chapter, we'll be using these words. And that point right there, when we learn about our ordered pair, is 0, 0. So 0, 0 is a super important thing to remember. So our origin is this point where the two lines connect, is at 0, 0. Okay, so an ordered pair, this is an example of an ordered pair. This is an example of an ordered pair. 3, -2 is used to locate a point on the plane. Okay, so we are going to talk in our next slide, we're going to talk about ordered pairs. So if you want to just write the word ordered pair and then just put a pair of numbers used to locate a point in the coordinate plane. Okay, so this is what an ordered pair looks like. This is an example using variables. So it always has an x value and it always has a y value. Every ordered pair has an x and a y. If it just has one number, then it is not an ordered pair. Okay, so x tells us if we're going right or left, and y is telling us if we're going up or down. So you probably want to write this down. And then if you want to draw a little squiggly line or a little line in between so we know that x goes with right and left, y goes with up and down. Okay, so in order for us to plot a point or to figure out our point values, our ordered pairs that are already plotted on a point, there are steps that we need to do. So x and y, okay, remember what we just said. X tells us if we're going left or right. Y is telling us if we're going up or down. Okay, so here's my coordinate plane again, okay, or here's a grid. Here's my x-axis, and here's my y-axis. Okay, this side over here, for us to remember, is positive. This is positive. This is negative, and this is negative. Okay, you do not need to write this part down, just watch as I do it, but you should write these steps down. Okay, so we're always going to start at 0. So first we're going to find out what is our ordered pair for the letter D. Okay, so D. We're going to start at 0. And I can see that I have to go over 1, 2, 3, 4 spots to the left, which brings me to -4. Okay, because we're always going left or right first. I have to go left. Left means negative, and I'm going to -4. So my first point in my ordered pair, my first value, is going to be -4, because I had to go over -4. Now I have to go up 2. Up is positive, so therefore my point for D, is -4, +2, or -4, 2. Okay, let's do C together. C, I can see, so we start at 0. We always start back at 0. Every time, start at 0. I have to ask myself, do I have to go right or left? Well, now to get to C, I have to go right. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this time it's positive. So it's going to be +4. And now this time, I am not going up or down, because our third step is to ask ourselves, do we have to go up or down? I'm not going up or down. I'm staying right on here, right on the x-axis. So since I'm not going anywhere on y, it's going to be 0. Because anything on our x-axis or our y-axis is 0. Okay, I want you to pause me, or not pause me, and see if you can do it by the time I start talking again, and to figure out the coordinate point for A and B. Okay, so really truly try to pause me so you can test yourself and check your understanding to see if you understand it. Okay, it's okay if you do it and you get it wrong, because that's how we learn, is we learn from our mistakes. So do A and do B. So A, starting back at 0, I can see that it's way down here, so I have to go this way first. We always go left or right. So 1, 2, 3, so it's going to be -3. And then I'm going down, which down is negative. So then I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? So that's the other thing. Wherever we're starting counting, so I'm starting at 0, so I don't count this space, I count my first jump. So 1, 2, 3, and then I don't count this space, I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's negative. Okay, B, starting at 0, I can see that I have to go 1, 2, 3 to get even with B. So I have 3, and then I go 1, 2, 3, 4, which is negative. So 3, -4. Okay, Now, if we go opposite, this time we're given the ordered pair, and this time we want to graph it onto our coordinate grid. So again, just to remind myself, my first number is always x, my second number is always y. Okay, so okay, first we're going to look at k that's already plotted on here. So k is 2, -5. So again, we start at the origin. Remember the origin is 0, 0. The x-coordinate is 2. Okay, remember this is positive. If you want to keep writing this every time you get a grid or a coordinate plane, just to remind you that this is positive, positive, negative, negative. So to the right is positive. If you think of a number line and our integers, to the right is always positive, to the left is always negative, and then it makes sense that going up is positive, going down is negative. So we have 2, -5. So that tells me that because x is my left or right, I go over 2, 1, 2, and then down 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there's my k. Okay, for L, we would have, we have 4, -2, so it tells me that I'm going to the right 4 because it's positive. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then -2 is down, so 1, 2. So there's my dot. Okay, M is -5, -3. So I start at 0, 0. Go -5, so that's negative, so I go to the left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I go down 3, 1, 2, 3, and that's my M. You don't need to be writing this down, that's fine, as long as you're watching and paying attention, or you're reminding yourself somehow in your notes that to the right and up is positive, to the left and down is negative, and you always want to remember that x is left or right, y is up or down, and most importantly is that x always comes first. So you're always going left or right first, and then always going up or down second. So n is 0, 1, so we start again at the origin, 0, 0. I'm going over 0, so that means I'm not going over anything at all. I'm staying at 0, and then I'm going up 1. So this is N. And then P, I'm going to the left 3, so 1, 2, 3. And then I'm not going up or down anything because it's at 0, so then that is P. Okay? If you would like to rewatch the video just to get more notes down or to watch and see the left and right and the up and down, that's totally fine. You can look in your online textbook for a couple more pictures of it. And then make sure you go onto NICU and take your 2-3 NICU quiz. Have a super evening.